Hi everybody, I'm Bridget Turner and I'm the lead brewer at Solace Brewing Company in Virginia, right outside of DC. I hope everybody's having a great time in Austin. I wish I could be there too, but somebody's got to stay home and brew. Anyways, I was asked to make a short video for you guys talking about my scholarship that I received last year to go to Germany and bound around Bavaria. It was called the Beer, Brats and Beyond Tour, and let me tell you, it was one of the greatest trips of my life. First of all, who doesn't want to go out of the country for 10 days? And then you meet other like-minded beer ladies and you drink the day away and sleep in awesome B&Bs at night. And so applying for this scholarship was a no-brainer for me. To do the applying, I wrote a 2-page essay about my past brewing experiences and why I wanted to go on the trip. Some of the things I mentioned was all the female brewers. All the breweries we went to pretty much were all female owned and run, and everybody was especially excited to meet Sister Doris. She's the last nun brewing in Germany, and she's been doing it for over 50 years. Her beers are perfection, and she even prints her own laughing face on every single beer bottle that she sells. And someone actually even made a BuzzFeed video about her. So I also thought that this trip would be great for me because I have a secret passion for traditional brewing. I went to brew school in England and my diploma is in British brewing technology. So since I learned the basics of craft beer by brewing English milds and ESBs, I thought it would be appropriate if I learned how to brew German beers straight from the source. And let me tell you, it's been one of the biggest payoffs of my career. As you know, lagers aren't hugely popular in the United States outside of AB InBev, but people are getting there. They're starting to see that lagers can be just as diverse and delicious as ales, and that's what Germany specializes in. So we don't brew like a ton of lagers at my brewery, Solace, but when we do brew our Marzen every year and our Pilsner, you better believe that I am all over it and I'm using all the tips and tricks that I learned in Germany from the real brewers. I don't want to give away too many of the secrets because you're going to have to apply for the scholarship yourself and fly to Bavaria to get that stuff. But the knowledge that I learned there wasn't just limited to lagering skills. In only 10 days, we visited 20 different towns, 16 breweries, a hop farm, a malting facility. We learned to make brats. We ate hundreds of pretzels and way too much spatzel. And we also walked in a hop harvest parade and the entire town was there. We spent the night in a castle, like a real castle. And that's not even mentioning all the amazing girls I met and fell in love with on the trip. I learned just as much from them as I did from the tour. So getting this scholarship genuinely helped my career, and I made lifelong connections with people. And I went to Germany. So if that doesn't convince you to start applying for some of these Pink Boots scholarships, then you're crazy. So get on the website today at pinkbootsociety.org and apply, because trust me, you will not regret it. It was a great time. Thanks, guys.
I mean, it was amazing. It was the first time I ever left the country. And I was actually a little hesitant. Didn't know what to expect because I was on this trip for like 2 weeks with women. And I was like, oh God, I'm gonna have to spend like every single minute with all these women. And they actually were amazing. I mean, they were all Pink Boot members. And it was just, just like the tradition they had with the beer there was, we met like the last brewing nun in the world. Yeah, Sister Doris, who was amazing. I loved it. They had like a little piece of paper kind of over the beer it was like a flip top. And you can only buy her beer from the monastery, like from her there. And she said you always have to drink from the bottle because that's the only time you'll ever get to kiss a nun because her picture's on the thing. But she was amazing. She talked about how she hated computers, so she had like an assistant brewer that just did all the computer work. She was a spitfire, but she was amazing. And going to the hop farms, and I tell people if I didn't love Asheville as much as I did and my whole family wasn't here, I would move to Germany in a second. Like, it was we went to a lot of little small towns, and they have like one pub, like one brewery, and that's the brewery for the town. And one thing that I thought was really cool was Zoikel beer, yeah, where they have one brewery, like it's only in a certain part of Germany, but there's like these little towns, and each town has one brewery, and these old men go and make, or well, no, I think there's like one person who makes it, and it's coal-fired brewery. Yeah, oh yeah. They make the beer, and then they put it in these like metal containers that they have on the back of a truck, and there's places in town that are homes that are Zoigel homes, and you have to go through this whole process if you want to be one. But and these people, we went to one that we went to two, but they move the beer to these locations, and at that location they ferment the beer and then serve it at their house. Like, I mean, yeah. So this one place we went had, oh god, it was hilarious. So they had this extra like shed thing that you go, and they make food for you and all this other stuff. Their children were actually serving us beer. I mean, like yay big. And they kept tally of what you got on the back of your coaster. Yeah, and then you pay at the end.
That's pretty awesome setup.
Yeah, you're on these like long, like skinny little German style seating, with all these people in the town, and yeah, it's these people's house. And then we went to another one that was very similar to that, and it was an amazing experience. And every beer is different because everybody ferments it differently, and different yeast and different all that stuff. So that was pretty amazing to see that, like just that kind of. And it's, yeah, they make amazing beer, and it's just, they don't, and with, like, they have the Reinheitsgebot, so you can't use anything except water, malt, hops, and yeast. So they're not putting all this random shit like we do in beer, which was nice. And, it's I feel like, it's a true craft over there, because you have to get creative with just those ingredients.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was amazing.
Hi, I'm Andrea Ludlum. I'm a member of the Boston chapter. I've been a member since 2015. In 2016, I received a scholarship to go to the Hops and Brew School in Yakima Valley. It's a 2-day conference held in September that's put on by YCH Hop Union, the biggest hop producer in the country. During the conference, we had industry leaders speaking about the state of the hops in the country. We toured a hop farm. We saw hops being picked and processed, dried, pelletized, and stored. It was a very informational 2-day conference, and I did a lot of networking during that time. I was really excited to be chosen as a scholarship recipient because I want to be a hop farmer. Since that time, I have come back. I've done a lot of networking. I've met with some of the people within my Boston chapter, and I've scouted land. I've tried to find the right property to grow my hops on and build the trellis on, and I haven't had much luck in that facet of my business plan, but I'm still researching it. I'm very excited though, because I feel like I found an opportunity for me, which may not be hop growing, but it should hopefully will be hop processing. What I've learned since coming back and doing some research is that there are a good number of farms that are a couple of years ahead of me, meaning they have the trellis, they have the hop yard, they're actually growing hops, but what they lack is someone to do the processing. They don't have the money, and they don't have the resources, they don't have the space necessarily to do the post-production, to do the drying and the pelletizing. And that's really what we need to do in the Northeast, especially in Massachusetts, to make sure that the small breweries, they have the hops pelletized. So we have a good number of hops that have been started, but we don't have the pelletizing equipment. So to get them to the next step, so the breweries will buy the product. So I'm hoping that's where my niche falls, and I'm currently researching that, as well as still researching land, because I still do want to grow. I'm growing a small amount of hops right now, so I'm sort of testing the waters in that aspect, but I'm thrilled to be a recipient of the scholarship, and I can't wait to update everybody again when I have my business up and running, and hope to be able to give some more positive updates. But again, I just am thrilled that I was a recipient of the scholarship and can't thank Pink Boots enough. They hopefully have changed my life, and every day I network with the women that I have met in my Boston chapter. We're a very robust chapter. We're very enthusiastic. We have a lot of great things in store for 2019, and I'm very proud to be a member of the Boston chapter. Thank you. Cheers.
Oh, hi there. My name is Kat Weist. I'm a brewer here at Pelican Brewing Company. I have been brewing since 2012, and I have been a Pink Boots Society member just as long. I got into the brewing industry kind of by accident. I answered a Craigslist ad, and I ended up in a production facility that was horribly understaffed, and I had to learn a lot very, very quickly. I did not have very much time to learn why I was doing a lot of the things that I was doing. I'm really happy for the experience, but I really needed more of a, framework, actual education, not just learning from the guy that told me it was done this way. So I always applied for scholarships, and in 2017, I did receive the Pink Boots Society scholarship for the UC Davis Intensive Brewing Program, and I was stoked. I was the head brewer of a small pub at the time, and I always had people asking me, what school did you go to get this job? How many years of college did you need to get this job? And I, kind of, depending on the mood I was in, say, I went to the School of Hard Knocks, or, I worked my way up, here has been, my progress. But I really wanted to have, a formal education. So going to the UC Davis program was amazing. It was very intense. It's a short course, and it really just blew my mind in terms of learning how much I didn't know, and discovering certain things like, I've been doing it the hard way all these years, or wow, I've been doing it wrong. So it was very humbling. And it was great to be in a physical classroom because I made a lot of connections. There were about 24 other brewers there, and so there was good networking opportunities. And the professors were genuinely interested in our success, and said if something comes up, we've got engineering problems, if something clicks in a few weeks, shoot me an email. And so that was pretty great. Can't complain about having Charlie Bamforth as someone who you can say, hey, I've been thinking about what you said, what do you think about this? So I encourage you to apply for scholarships, and one day you'll probably get one. Do not let the pay it forward stipulation freak you out, because that's a really positive experience in itself. I gave a presentation at GABF a couple years ago. I was terrified because I had to go in front of a group of women who I respect as my role models and basically tell them what I learned, and I just felt like I can't tell these ladies anything. So I just talked about what I didn't know and what I'd been doing wrong, and so there's kind of like a little bit of freedom in that. What else? It's really nice to finally have a piece of paper that sounds really silly, but something on my resume that actually says that I am qualified to do the job that I have. And even if it's just from a confidence perspective, I feel that my opinions and my ability to troubleshooting actually has some merit to it, because I'm not just someone who kind of worked their way up. I do have a foundation, and education is a lifelong pursuit, and I'm gonna keep working on it. So thank you, Pink Boots Society, for everything. Thank you, Terry, for making Pink Boots Society. And apply for scholarships, ask your brewery to sponsor a scholarship, and drink beer.